I think it's an exciting time in this nation's history for the Republican Party and for people who believe that conservative principles are truly the way to eliminate and to eradicate poverty. And I will tell you that as a kid growing up in a single-parent household, I have learned firsthand that conservative principles absolutely, positively, unequivocally is the best path forward to eliminate poverty. Thanks to the Kemp Foundation, Opportunity Lives for investing in this day and making this possible. We know what the solutions are. And remember this, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Got trailers on the right, small houses on the left. This is how it was when I was growing up. When we came back home to South Carolina, we moved back to this little house at the end of this street here and moved in with my grandparents. Me, my mom, and my brother, we shared one bed in here. It was filled with love. Not space, but filled with love. Lots of love. Learning to become more independent along the way, being in leadership, having a decent football career in high school, all positive memories. Having 3 or 4 pair of pants and half a dozen shirts, those were the sadder memories. Part of the challenges of living in poverty, it's hard to take care of the basic. One of the best memories I have is during the wintertime when it's really cold. We had the little heaters that were connected to the wall. You had to stand next to the heat if you really wanted to get warm. And the other way to do so, of course, was to open the oven. And the beauty of opening the oven was that my grandmother was cooked biscuits, homemade from scratch biscuits. So you could always smell the aroma in the air or these biscuits, but it also provided heat. When she opened it, she'd keep the oven open. And that was just a nice way to wake up at times. And when I go to the table, my grandfather would oftentimes have a newspaper, and he was just, he was just digesting that newspaper. And it was 10 or 15 years later when I realized he couldn't read. He wanted his grandsons who were now living with him to understand and to assume that their grandfather was a well-read, learned man. I've never been inside the house.
What did it feel like?
Heavy. A lot of good times, but a lot of tough times too. It's interesting how some things are etched in your memory in a way that you don't really appreciate until you get back to the spot. And you can see it, you can feel it. My Senate agenda springs out of these neighborhoods. The thing that motivates me for public service today is the hope that I can somehow, and in some way, help some of these kids experience their full potential. Part of the foundation's success in the country, without any question, is making sure that kids have access to a quality education.
Absolutely.
And I know that we have had many conversations in the Senate about how we get there, and there's no doubt that the larger the role of the federal government, the fewer opportunities for kids throughout America. The folks in Washington who are making those decisions, who are so far away from a kid, are making about, on average, $108,000 per employee at the Department of Education, where a teacher's making about $50,000. So making sure that we eliminate as much of the Department of Education on the federal level as possible only means good news for the students. And we can spend billions, actually, as you said earlier, trillions of dollars trying to figure out how to fix the things that are broken. Or, as you'll see at Meeting Street Academy, we can, for a lot less, change one life at a time that will then change the entire community. And if you change the community, you change the city, you change the city, you change the state, change the state, change the nation.
Meeting Street Academy was founded 8 years ago when our founder, Ben Navarro, wanted to be a part of changing the educational narrative in Charleston. And he, like many other people, wasn't satisfied with the fact that your zip code was going to determine what your educational opportunities were. And so he wanted to be a part of something where kids and families who live in under-resourced neighborhoods are given the opportunity to have an amazing school where the doors of the future are flung wide open. We're not a district school, so we're not governed by checklists and accountability manuals and people that come in and monitor compliance to implementing these 15 steps for reading. We have our kids in front of us. We make choices based on exactly what our kids need and based on the goals that we've set. Most schools around here will talk about having their students score at grade level, 50th percentile, average. We're not looking for average. We're in the business of opportunity and options for kids and families, and those options only come when you're equipped academically and socially with the skills that you need in order to be successful. So we said 85th percentile is our goal. That means hiring the best teachers.
Having the 2 teachers in a classroom is amazing. My teaching partner and I are able to pull small groups at all times. We're able to actually reach the needs of all of our kids.
They have to take it by step, piece by piece, and build.
Everything about them is invested in wanting to learn and doing well and knowing that they are going to go to college.
Everyone wants you to go higher and higher and higher and be awesome in college.
We have 4 pillars that guide all of the things that we do here. Number 1, at Meeting Street Academy, we believe in starting early. So we have 3 and 4-year-olds before they even reach kindergarten. So we have kids that are coming in kindergarten and scoring at the 75th percentile because they've had such a rich background. We also take a holistic approach to our kids. Here at MSA, you have a healthy breakfast, you have a healthy morning snack, you have a healthy lunch, you have a healthy afternoon snack. We have PE almost every single day here. We have medical, vision, and dental screenings here. One of the things that we believe in here is the path to success. So we have our academic goals, but what carries equal weight and importance with us is our path to success, our character skills.
Empathy. Because you want to love people. And more we love, more builds a community.
And if they have those character skills and they have the academic skills, then we're truly delivering on the promise to our families that their kids will have whatever options they want. The third thing we believe is parent partnership. And we both have one goal, and that's to give your child amazing opportunities once they leave us by the time they're in their 5th grade.
I think if Victoria didn't come here when she did, she would not be the person who she is right now. She has such a bright future just coming to the school.
As we continue to grow, I believe we could change the narrative on what our expectations for kids, and then we can change the narrative on what does a structure of a school look like that can be successful. It doesn't have to be a traditional school, it doesn't have to be a charter school or a private school, but give schools autonomy and independence and hold them accountable for results, and you're gonna accomplish great things.
And the results speak for themselves. And not only are the results out of this world, so to speak, they are more cost-effective at the same time. They're encouraging and loving these kids in a way that these kids are responding and are inspired by it. I think you'll walk away with tears in your eyes, with a softer heart that's melting for this thing called hope. Sometimes people believe that we as Republicans don't know any poor people. And unfortunately, every time I go home, see my family, I walk into a neighborhood that is still mired in poverty. And what I hear in the neighborhoods when I go see my grandfather every week is not requests for more government assistance. It's a leg up. It's more training, more education.
Yeah.
Empowering the individual seems to be the solution. I oftentimes say that I'm living my mother's American dream. That the blessing of my life is to experience the manifestation of what she formed in her heart and her mind, what she always thought was possible. We now get to experience it together. And my grandfather as well, because my grandfather was probably the first, at least the best male role model, decade in and decade out. There's no one like my granddaddy. And with, thank you, went to the 2nd or 3rd grade with just a limited education. He was wise enough to know that I needed more than he had, which is hard to see sometimes, but he knew it, and he set us up for success. My family, into his lifetime, has gone from cotton to Congress. In America, all things are possible, and my grandfather set that example a long time ago.